Picture an egg, fragile and vulnerable.
What were you wearing?
Where were you sitting?
AM or PM?
How many times?
And why didn't you speak up before?
Shaken too much, it falls apart. Now imagine it's not an egg at all. It's a child who's been the victim of sexual abuse, and you're the first to arrive after the 911 call. Your job is clear and limited. In these very fragile cases, get the minimal facts. And not from the victim, from a non-offending adult. Ask for the victim's name, offender's name, what happened, where, and when, and that's it. Cases like these depend on clear, consistent testimony. Too many questions leading to inconsistent answers can leave prosecutors with no way to put the case back together.
When my son was 6, he had a pretty traumatic experience at his school. He was called into the principal's office. He was met with 2 police officers, a social worker, and his principal. And they wanted him to give them details on what had happened to him. He started crying hysterically and asking for his mother and father. And he just was really confused on why the police officers were there and was he in trouble. I think it's really important for that first responder to understand that they are dealing with children who have many different complex understandings of what a police officer should or shouldn't do.
When I was 8 years old, I was sexually abused by my father. It took a toll on me because I was unsure if it was my fault or if there was something that I could have done differently. If my case had fallen apart due to a technicality, I would have been distraught. Who knows what could have happened if something would have went wrong.
When a child is making a report of child abuse and they're telling this story for the first time to somebody, there's a lot of emotions going on. The child might be feeling confused, might be worried that they've done something wrong, that they're in trouble. A police officer has a certain amount of authority and power, and the child is going to be really intimidated, and it's going to be hard to tell their story. They might try to say what they think the police officer wants them to say, so they're trying to guess, and they may not understand what the officer's asking. There's lots of opportunity for mistakes to occur and for things to get misunderstood.
I've had cases fall apart on technicalities or when the family just distrusts the system because those initial moments weren't done to the best of everybody's ability. The first 10 minutes when police and law enforcement and social services show up are critical at building a bond with a family and a child and letting a child know that these are people who are here to help them as opposed to make their life more difficult. When we don't do those initial steps the right way, besides losing their trust, often we get multiple statements and misleading information that just makes a case unprosecutable sometimes.
We prefer that the first interview be done with a forensic interviewer because we find that when we get interviews done by the patrol officers, they ask leading questions. My best advice to patrol officers is get some minimal facts as possible.
Get as much information as you can from a responsible, non-offending adult at the scene. The best place for a child to be interviewed is at a setting like a child advocacy center where the environment is child-friendly, it's a comfortable situation, and they're interviewed by people who are trained to talk to children.
What's great about a child advocacy center is that we're doing this as a team, so that when that patrol officer shows up at a house for a call of child abuse or sexual abuse, they know that they're not alone and that they have other people who can work with them to help a child and do some of the work that is not their expertise. And the expertise that we have is about helping a child say what happened to them.